Good evening. Good morning. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And today on State of Current Affairs, your hosts Lillian Caldwell and Vicky Esther Chang from Singapore will discuss three topics that are near and dear to everybody's heart. Forever chemicals. Oh, doesn't that sound wonderful? Kind of like the dung that the Amish use. And then we have elders and food. And is social media going too far? Well, yeah, but what else is new? And so, without further ado, let me introduce to you Vicky Esther Chang from Singapore. Good morning, Vicky.
Hi, Lillian. Thank you for today being here. It's such a privilege to be with our audience and our listeners. And, it is such an honor to have this time with everyone worldwide. At this, we are in a digital universe and we are in the digital revolution, not only the AI revolution, but I call it the digital revolution. And we are going to launch our digital revolution Gold Nuggets Learning Vacation Learning Series from Singapore to the world, which we're going to talk about a little later. And you can find that on Lillian Cardwell's website and also the Platinum platform on Facebook. We're going to talk more about that in the days to come. Please visit Facebook group, the Platinum platform. And today, very quickly, we are entering into the end of the first week of December. Yes, and this is the second week of December. Very soon we're going to have Christmas. So, again, hopefully I'll bring more good news to everyone. The article today, it's from um, WFLA.com. WFLA.com. It's about the article, This is My Chernobyl. Texas ranchers watch cows die because of PFAS. PFAS is a chemical acronym that stands for a chemical term that also means forever chemicals. And we talked about forever chemicals about 3 months ago when we first started the show. We talked about forever chemicals was discovered by the Germans when they studied over the years. Forever chemicals are chemicals that cannot be broken down forever. They will stay with us on this universe, and it's prevalent everywhere in your carpet coloring, upholstery, um, curtains, carpets, um, dyes, household items, household detergents, paints, varnishes, everywhere you have. And some of these forever chemicals have indirectly been linked with new emerging diseases that plague the newer population right now. And today in this article, it says, it goes to affirm, right, what we show and explain and share with everyone in State of Current Affairs, where we bring you the greatest, most important, and most current news to our viewers and listeners. Again, it's about this very important issue, your environment and your life. This is Chernobyl. Texas ranchers watch cows die because of PFAS. It talks about this family that has the cows dying, the dogs dying, and then the cats, and then they falling ill, not so much themselves, the owners, but then they went to get it tested, they get the environment tested. They found that the grounds that they have in the ranch was was polluted, or I would say that contaminated with PFAS. And the owners of the ranch, the couple themselves, got their blood tested. They have also PFAS in the blood, and this is not something new. It's been in existence for since the industrial revolution. We've got lots of different chemicals, but it's only lately in recent years been identified and named by the German scientists. So again, this is something that goes to show. There are pictures here. If you go to this website, WFLA.com, that has the the articles on the cows dying. I'm not going to show here, but not sure if you can see that the cows actually lay dying on the ranch, and it's disheartening. The cows die here on the ranch, on the farm. And it's disheartening because out of the 120 cows that they have, over 38 cows died in a span of a few weeks. So they had the grounds tested. So that's really, really sad. But it also goes to show that state of current affairs is not only a place where you get to understand firsthand in 20 minutes the latest news around the world, where we bring you and select exclusively for you, but also for you to widen your understanding of the world, your general knowledge, and your general understanding of what's happening around the world. So that's the first article. I'm going to quickly dive into the second article. Selected these for our viewers and listeners. The next article. Now, this is something really, really close to my heart. Again, related health and food. Go to getsurrey.co.uk, a news that comes out from the UK. Surrey, the place in the UK, Surrey, getsurrey, getsurrey.co.uk. The world's oldest people eat one superfood for breakfast, and it's not toast. Now, guess what? Something that we reported 2 weeks ago, and I've always been talking about this, is something that I talked over and again, something that I really promote myself because I take it as someone who actually subscribes to a macrobiotic diet. Oats, whole oats, and I'm talking about non-processed but rolled organic oats that as natural as you can get, as whole as you can get. Just cook it with hot water, put in some grains, add in some dried fruits, berries, and there you are, you have it. And you can have it with honey. And this is what has been identified by the article, that the one trend that permeates and runs through the world's oldest population, the one food that they eat for breakfast is really oats. Again, refer to the article as something that we talked about, and now it's reaffirmed. Again, it goes to show the state of current affairs. We bring you wholesome, good news that is good for your spirit, your health, your strength, and your mind. So that's an article that you can find on Surrey, getsurrey.co.uk. Another article that says, this article is from www.gbnews.com, gbnews.com. It says that I'm a dietitian and I highly recommend 2 bedtime snacks for better blood sugar control throughout the night. Now, blood sugar control is really important. You don't want to have a dip. It's got to do with your insulin, of course. But I think the reason a lot of us throughout the world, we have this craving for nighttime snacks. When you get up from bed, you need to open the fridge. Lillian, I think you are guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. A lot of us are guilty of that. We open the fridge, we open the freezer, and we kind of like look at it as if we are touring a tourist site. Like, what do I get from here? Pull it out, open it, and turn it around. Hopefully, there's something we want. That's a subliminal reaction to a craving for food because our sugar level is dipping, and we wanted to have some kind of a comfort food before we go to bed. So now in this article by the dietitian, she says managing sugar level throughout the day is relatively straightforward. It can prove significantly more challenging to maintain the balance throughout the night. Fortunately, there are several effective strategies that can help maintain stable glucose throughout the night, and many evolve around food. One of the best food that they said is surprisingly, we have always identified this as one of the worst foods. It is called the peanut butter. Right now, I've read a lot of things about peanut butter. A lot of our modern food we have is really bad for us because of highly refined white sugar that goes into everything. Highly refined white sugar, sucrose, glucose, fructose, and uh, sweetening substitutes or artificial sweeteners. They are the first culprit and the worst denominator that really ruins your health. Well, if you can get out of the cycle of sugar, or I should say, highly refined white sugar, that would be your first step to better health. So as I read and talk, and as I read and try to research about peanut butter, hey, I really found that peanuts has got lots of nutrients for us. Let's not get into the chemical makeup of peanuts, but if you, according to the dietitian, it says peanut butter is good for us. Good news. But just like coffee, right? But however, coffee that you run into Starbucks to get from Starbucks, um, they are full of creams, creameries, um, sugar, sugar substitutes, additives. Now, if you can get rid of all these artificial things that goes into our food, you can literally get healthy. I mean, espresso, black, straight coffee, ground coffee without anything. That's really good for health, you know. That's an ingredient for longevity, and that's an ingredient for detoxification. It actually cleans up your liver. And talk about peanut butter again. A pure peanut, I mean, there are different kinds of peanuts, right? But pure peanut generally, if you actually ground it, you can actually get peanut oil and peanut in its cream form, and that's really, really good for health. And it says that if you want to have your sugar level balanced, peanut butter, and the caveat is it has got to be natural without additives or sugar. And of course, I would, of course, advocate fresh grounded peanut butter and organic that you can find that it's grounded at some supermarkets. I'm not quite sure in America you can get it, but in certain places in Singapore, and especially in places like Australia, you can actually ground your peanuts straight from the grinder, and then there you have it, peanut butter without any salt or sugar or sweeteners, artificial sweeteners. That is something that I advocate. And that's in the article from um, gbnews.com. One of the first thing that stabilizes your sugar level is peanut butter. And the next thing they say, and I advocate this a lot, is yogurt. They say that yogurt consumption is associated with lower levels of glucose and insulin resistance. Again and again and again, there is always a caveat whenever you read this, because whatever you can get from the supermarket, Lillian, you know they're just chock full of white refined sugar and a lot of string of words behind that you can't even decipher what they are, because they are with additives, they're with coloring, they're with flavorings, they're with food enhancers, and you call that a lot of texture enhancers. So I would really advocate to get natural, whole um, yogurt, and of course the other yogurt replacements or yogurt substitutes. A similar category are the kombucha, they call it the kefir, the Jewish kefir, and also kombucha. You can actually home make it. Yogurt, you can have it homemade. So these are some of the things that I bring out the news for you about health and the environment. And very quickly, back to the article today. I am going to share this with the ladies and gentlemen here. Let me just pull this out. The next category of the topic that I'm sharing with you is, all right, very quickly, social media. Now, we are living in the digital media world. There are some digital media that is really good for consumption. Digital media, you can go on LinkedIn training, a lot of training platforms. They are digital platforms, by the way. They may not be identified as social. So social media is a category of digital media. It's a subset of digital media. But we're talking about pure digital social media here as identified as the media as in Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X platform. These are social media platforms. Social media here. There is an article here that I pulled from MSN.com. MSN.com. There is a new app called OnlyFans that I think many people hear about it. A lot of boys, a lot of men subscribe to it. It's called OnlyFans. OnlyFans model. Her name is called. She's 22 years old. She's a model. She's called Browen Aurora. So Browen Aurora is a model on OnlyFans, and she's 22 years old. She has a boyfriend that is 85 years old. Now, I'm not against age. There is no ageism. However, this is something surprising, as the boyfriend lies bedridden on the hospital bed with tubes going through his arms. Of course, there are pictures that they were out before when he was stronger. They were out socializing, hugging, etc. But this particular OnlyFans influencer, he actually posted a video that she says is a joke. She says, I am now in his will. Should I pull the plug? And she started dancing in front of him while he's lying on the hospital bed with tubes in his arms. And of course, the internet had an uproar. And because she's only 22 years old, is it an ethical thing to do? And if she's dancing there and she says, I'm in the wheel now, should I pull the plug? And then because of the backlash, she now apologizes to say that, hey, it's just a joke. I wouldn't do that. He's my boyfriend. So this article on MSN.com, to me, it's just mean, it's just nasty. It just goes to the depth of the human spirit. So that I call it is social media going too far. Now contrast that with another article that I just pulled out. Malaysia. Malaysia is a largely conservative country. Malaysia is largely a Muslim country. It says that social media platforms This is in the website The Star, THESTAR.com, THESTAR.com. Social media platforms must enforce age limit strictly, said the minister in Malaysia. And Malaysia has warned that it will implement in 2 years' time licensing of the use of social media. Um, uh, it's very general right now. Two ways: social media that needs to come into the country, they need to be licensed and registered, and users need to be licensed and registered if you were to use the social media. That's something that they are looking at. They're giving 2 years grace, but at this point in time, they are already enforcing that age limit for social media must be enforced by platform owners. For example, for Facebook, it says that age 13 is the limit, is the lower limit for people to register as a user and also as someone to open a Facebook account. So they are trying to get this into law, and they want that to be the basis, to be the starting point of social media regulation. So we're looking at two spectrums here. We're looking at there are certain societies that want to have an open 100% freedom of speech. Um, for example, the X platform, social media like Instagram, and owners of a lot of countries that say that we must own the freedom of right to speak, the freedom of speech. But there are also certain governments that are trying to say, hey, we need to enforce regulation. So again, Lilian, we've talked about this in the last couple of weeks. We talked about, hey, when governments come in, they're looking at the social media, they may two ways. In a context of saying it is a social good, we need to regulate because children are going there. There are pedophiles out there. They are trying to say that, but they are also may be using it as a pretext to regulate for political gains. We don't know. So we're looking out to these are the directions, I would say the fragmentations of the world directions. And hopefully in our show, State of Business and Tech on Wednesday, we can talk more about the directions of technology, how each government and each country is taking AI and social digital media, digital platforms, and digital tech intelligence right now in its new directions from 2025. So again, social media, has it gone too far? Again, vote below and please write to Lillian Cardwell and myself, to Lillian Cardwell's email, and also text to State of Current Affairs, the number that's running. Is social media going too far? Should we regulate social media? Is social media the means to freedom of speech? Should we own that freedom of speech, or should it be regulated? How much and how far? Please write to Lillian. Again, State of Current Affairs. This is your platform. This is a platform created by the Main Street for the Main Street. And finally, a takeaway from everyone. Again, this goes to show, Lillian, all the news, all that we have selected for the listeners and the viewers are current. They are the latest discourse for all governments and people, politicians and the rich. They are the state of current affairs and the state of business technology that will bring humanity into the next direction. We're looking at the new revolution from now on. We are already in the age of AI, in a new industrial revolution. And something that we talked about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, Lillian, we talked about the birth rates of women throughout the world. If Lillian can remember, Singapore is number 2 in the world, whereby women are only producing 1.01 children, and the number 1 in the world is South Korea. They are producing only 1.001 a child per couple. So Singapore ranks number 2. So today, In fact, it was just yesterday that Elon Musk twisted Singapore is going extinct. He tweeted that countries, he particularly pointed out Singapore is going extinct because people are not procreating. But we know Mr. Elon Musk, he's a father of 12. He's got like half a dozen of girlfriends who produced for him. He did not, he married and he got divorced, and he's gone on to have like 12 girlfriends, six girlfriends with 12 children, and he's housing them into a very, very big house in Texas right now. So he talks about Singapore going extinct. And he says not only Singapore, but many countries around the world, because of the rate of replacement, is really going, is nose diving or going on a nosedive direction. So again, Lillian, very quickly, that's 25 minutes for you, the listeners and the viewers. Thank you so much. So just to wrap up from Singapore, we talked about forever chemicals. We talked about health and food, particularly very good organic whole peanut butter is very good for you to stabilize your blood sugar at night, and also whole, wholesome, organic, natural yogurt. It's good for sugar stabilizing the sugar level. And we talked about also social media. Have the social media gone too far? Finally, the final point is Elon Musk texted Singapore is going extinct. So Lillian, a couple of very interesting news for our listeners and viewers, and for you. Thank you so much. You may would like to wrap this up.
I'm going
30
to wrap it
minutes
up.
for you.
We'll discuss more tomorrow. However, I hope Elon Musk goes extinct along and leave Singapore alone. I think Singapore's just fine the way it is. It's Elon Musk who bought his way and bought the election from Trump for Trump, and he has delusions of grandeur. Be that as it may,
Yeah.
our email is pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com, or text us at 484-364-1032. You can see this program all over again. Go over to the website, passionateworldtalkradio.com. Go down to the bottom where it says State of Current Affairs. Click on it. It'll take you to a web page. You'll see a Google link. Click on that, and that will take you into the belly of the beast. How do we know you're coming in? Because every time I go over there, I have to switch my account to PWTRN from the other account in which you go into. And that's how I know. And we're doing very well. So no complaints here. And also a program brought to you by the GDM Metropolis Educational Publication Production to help you get your memoirs out to the world. Seems like Mr. Putin has decided to wait because China said, if you nuke, we'll come over and blister you. And
really? Wow.
Yes, China told them, no nukes.
Oh my God.
No nukes. And when China speaks, even Putin listens. So we're safe for a while.
Over there.
Everybody can stop getting out of their frenzy. Although that doesn't mean he won't drop some other things on you. Who knows, with the madman of Russia. And let's see what else. Also, the obstacle course of podcast training, 2-month course, an hour, half an hour for learning, half an hour for implementing what you just learned. Yes, I make you do things interactively. Wow. To make sure you know what you're doing. So when you get on the air, you don't say, sorry about that, or I apologize for being stupid. So this way you'll avoid all that embarrassment. So look it up, education.passionateworldtalkradio.com/masterclass. It gives you all the details over there. Let me know if you're interested, pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com. And don't forget artificial intelligence. Go over to AIwithlillian.com. Talks about Ruby AI, 5 different investment packages. The low is $25 you go into Starbucks and spend that much just to get some yogurt and a coffee these days. Or, as I was told by a very upset mother, I took my daughter to Starbucks, and by the time she finished putting everything in her coffee that she wanted, the bill came out to $45. I would be a little upset too. I can't
45
imagine what gold and silver she put in there. But
US dollars.
yeah, that's a lot of money for a cup of coffee. I draw the line at maybe $5. And that's it. As my grandson would say, if you play grandma's game, you may even get a cookie out of it. And you should see their cookies are like this much, so he's not complaining. We want to thank you very much for joining us. Have a pleasant day. And remember, this is a place to get the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Thank you very much and have a great week.